Hello and welcome to this new video. Now today it's going to be a slightly different video. I'm going to be doing a React video and I'm going to be reacting to myself. I will be showing you all my little secrets, speed modeling, and how I applied them for the TooTallToby 2024 World Championship Tournament qualifier. And I will be showing you how you can use Alibre and qualify for the tournament too. So we'll be watching the video on YouTube. Now, as the video starts, I just show a failed attempt. So I show the end of a failed attempt where I didn't even make a couple of fillets and I even botched everything else. Let's move forward to exactly 1 minute. I've started the first part again. I'm sketching in the YZ plane. I've made the 35mm bore and I want to start sketching on the outline. And if you look what I'm doing, I draw a slant line and then I start typing furiously. 105, which is the length. Tab, 0. That's the degrees, right? There you go. First line done. Then furiously continue tabbing. 10, tab, 90, right? Hit enter. There you go. That's your second line, right? So you see, I'm creating the outline by typing the lines in. And I don't really care about the positioning of that outline because I will bring it to the correct position relative to that bore later down the line. But look what's important here. At this point, I don't know the length of that line. So what do? As soon as the line starts, I position it a bit further down, right? I hit tab, right? And I type what I know. That's what I do. I know that it's 90 degrees from where I am. So I just type that. Watch this. 90, enter. And that line is now 90 degrees, pointing 90 degrees down, which is where I want it to be, even if it's behind the clock, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me. And now here's another great little tip. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this bore and this outer arc, I'm going to make them concentric, right? So I hit concentric. I select the bore first and then the arc because here's the tip. The last thing you select in Alibre kind of stays selected. So as soon as I put in that constraint, I hit D and immediately I am dimensioning that outer arc, right? Look at that. Hit D, dimensioning, putting the arc in, and then I'm straight into the extrude. And now in the extrude, I make a move that I call the tie tab, right? So why is that? Why do I call it the tie tab? Well, it's because Ty did it first in the Spring Open qualifier, right, in his video, and I thought it's so simple and so genius that one, I'm going to be copying, and second, I'm gonna name it after him. So this is the tie tab, right? So basically, what do? You start the extrude command in Alibre, and you have the length pre-selected here. So if you type something in, that's going to be the extrusion length. But I don't want it to be too depth, right? I want it to be mid-plane because that helps me locate other features around it, right? So what do? Well, if you hit Shift and Tab, right, you go one step back inside that menu. And it so happens that you get to this drop-down menu, okay? And then if you hit the down arrow once, the extrude command switches to mid-plane extrude command. And what's completely amazing about this is that the length still stays selected. So you go Shift Tab, down, you type the length, and it goes in. You get the correct extrusion. Now, watch this. There you go. That was like what? Couple of tenths of a second, and I completely defined my extrusion. So that's the power of Alibre's menus, and you know, that's the beauty of the tie tab move. So what do I do now? Well, again, YZ plane, I hit, and I hit as I start the sketch, and then what did I do? Let's go a step back, right? So look, somehow something flashed up here, and I got the entire outline, right, as a reference sketch. So this is something that I've developed to counter the lack of imprinting the outer shape face that you're sketching on in Alibre, right? So if you will allow me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Alibre. I'm going to start a part here, and I'm just going to make a simple circle. Okay, I'm going to extrude it for 20 millimeters. There you go. So now I want to sketch here, but if I start the sketch here, start a line. So you see that I can't make the start of my line coincident with the outside of this circular face, right? In SolidWorks and Fusion, you can do that, and the term I have seen for this ability is imprinted, right? But watch this. So let's say that I hit project to sketch. So I have a shortcut for that, which is Shift P. I think that's the default shortcut for it. So I haven't changed that. So look what happens, right? A sketch starts, and the face is pre-selected. And if I hit create reference figure, maintain association to source entity, and then OK. Let's start my line again. Oh, there you go. Now I'm snapping to that. Okay. And if I give an angle here, let's say 35 degrees, full constraint, and that's that, right? I could even, well, maybe, I want to do something like that. Now, I've taken this a step further, right? So I'm using a mouse from Logitech. Okay, so let's delete that. And as you know, you can pre-program any button on that mouse to perform a macro, right? A set of actions. What I've done is I select a face, and then I've pre-selected a macro that does this. So this is a macro. It's called project to ref. And if we go here and edit it, right, it goes Shift P, right? Push down, release, push down, Shift and P, release, Shift and P. Tab, press and release. Down, tab, space, enter. Do that in Alibre to show you what this does. So I select the face, Shift B, tab, down. Okay, you see what's going on there? I switched it to creating a reference figure, right? Tab, space, right? I check the checkbox, enter. And now this is, again, this is imprinted as it were. And I can do the same thing, right? And that's that. This is a technique I picked up for speed modeling, and it has been a game changer for my everyday professional life, right? Something that I use all the time, and now I couldn't go without it. So thanks, Toby, for that. You just forced me to learn something that has helped me immensely. And then I go click on the YZ plane again, do the same thing, and now I'm starting on the rib. And what do? I type 62, tab 40, and I make a line. Why 62 millimeters? Well, I found that if you make this line 62 millimeters, and if you make that other line slightly off vertical, right, and then you close that triangle, then you dimension this at 40 millimeters as per the drawing, and this extrusion, you make it a mid-plane extrusion, again with a tight tab move, give it a length of 10 millimeters. This will make the rib correctly every time. No gaps, no whatever, right? Another really cool move I picked up for this qualifier. If you select the lines first and then hit the fillet shortcut, which for me is F, it brings in the edges that you have selected at the time you start the fillet command, and it has the radius highlighted, and you just need to type it, hit enter, and it's good to go. And look at how fast it creates the fillets like this. Look, 1, 2, there you go. That was it, right? Let's go for the second one, right? So we start 3 millimeters, tab 5 millimeters bend radius. Now look, this is, so what I'm doing here is we have kind of a U shape that goes back on itself for 30 millimeters. every time you have a hue shape, what I've come to do, I started with a center rectangle, and then I go and make a reference line out of the one that I don't need. What I do here, then I just add a line 13 millimeters. And then I start a contour base flange. You can see all about that in my sheet metal masterclass video. So we go on 80 millimeters, and look, I'm imprinting now. I'm imprinting, so I can sketch on the edges here, but what's very important here is you will see that I do not fully define my sketch. The print calls for a 20 millimeter depth here at 30 degrees, right? So you do a little bit of trick, and it comes so that if you do a 40 millimeter line at 60 degrees from horizontal, it's the same thing basically, right? It's going on there. And look, I don't even care. I'm just closing my sketch so I can cut extrude, right? I give it this dimension. So cut extrude, tie tab move, which goes to through all, and it's cut. And we're going to the next one. So here, I wanted to do the same thing I did in the first part, but I kind of messed up, and I'll show you why I messed up. Let's go back to Alibre and start the sketch, right? So yeah, let's go to the one. So let's do what I did in the first part, right? So 105 tab 0 enter, right? 1090 enter, 40 270 enter, right? So I'm making this. I put it over there. Tab 90. Its length is not constrained, but it's in the correct location. Now watch this. If I delete everything, so I started and I made this line slant upwards. If I make it slant downwards, look what happens. 105 tab 0. 10 tab 90. Uh-oh, that line went the wrong way. So the direction that the angle is measured changes depending on where your cursor is and the previous and the start of the line segment. So Alibre is trying to think and guess what is the positive direction of the angle you want. So you need to take that into account when you're speed modeling, especially in qualifiers and leaderboards. So you need to pay attention to this, or you'll be making your lines go their own way, and that's I think what happened in the video. But then what do? Then I start to create a surface which I will use to trim off excess geometry after I'm done designing the model. Huge tip here, right? So I've obviously made a keyboard shortcut for all of this, right? The create surface from face. So I select all the inside faces, as it were, of the model. And then I go and make this. Now look what I'm doing. The same thing, right? Length and angle, puts it where it needs to be. 1.25, right? You see that there's there's a thing sticking out on the bottom there. Clearly, that's not what the print calls for. And when I start the hole tool to make there you go. You see this whole thing sticking down the bottom. Now I'm going to trim the model. So you've got the ribbon up here. Now, if you hover over the ribbon and roll your mouse wheel, it goes through the tabs of the ribbon. So if you roll your mouse wheel down once, it goes to the surfaces tab. And I also kind of memorized the location of the trim model command, which is right behind the helical cut behind, in quotes. So I just aim for that, and as soon as I go over the ribbon, I roll my mouse wheel once, click, and that's the command I want. So look at that. Oh, there you go, trim model, right? I go back. Now, I do the trim here. Why? Because at this point, I have the surface sticking out, and I can select it on the screen instead of going through the model tree, which takes a bit more time, right? So I do that. I need to reverse the trim, hit OK, and this model is done. That's that, guys. That's how I did my speed modeling run. I don't know if this was a reaction video or an explanation video. I did kind of react. I guess I can technically call it a react. I'm definitely gonna call it a react video in the title. So this is it, guys. I hope you liked it. I hope you take what you learned in this video and use it to qualify for the 2024 World Championship tournament with Alibre. I will be glad to see more competitors using Alibre in the top 16 going into the finals. And I will be even more glad if you beat me using Alibre. That means that I'm doing a good job on this YouTube channel. If you use Alibre and you beat me, I'm a happy man. So I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you on the qualifier leaderboard.